Commander Vexthal adjusted his bioluminescent crest, watching the blue-green marble spinning lazily below their observation deck. So, Admiral Krin'dar, remind me again why we're bothering with this primitive rock. Admiral Krin'dar's 4 eyes rolled in unison. Because, dear Commander, the Galactic Council insists we evaluate every species before planetary acquisition. Standard protocol, you know. Though honestly, looking at these humans, I suspect this will be the shortest evaluation in our military history. 3 months. That's all it took for the mighty Zephyrian Empire to conquer 17 star systems. Their plasma cannons could vaporize entire continents, their shields could deflect nuclear bombardments, and their telepathic abilities could break the strongest minds. These hairless primates with their crude metal contraptions? Please. Their most advanced weapon appears to be some sort of explosive projectile launcher, reported Lieutenant Yexmol, not bothering to hide his amusement. The projectiles move at approximately, wait, let me recalculate this, barely 3 times the speed of sound. How quaint. The bridge erupted in chittering laughter. Even the biomechanical navigation system seemed to pulse with mirth. Admiral Krin'dar extended his sensory tendrils toward the tactical display. Initiate standard intimidation protocol. Deploy exactly 12 attack vessels over their major population centers. That should be more than sufficient to secure immediate surrender. Sir, should we perhaps use just 6 vessels? 12 seems excessive for such a primitive species. Lieutenant, we represent the Zephyrian Empire. We have standards to maintain, even when dealing with barely evolved mammals. The first wave of intimidation went exactly as expected. Humans scattered like frightened insects, their primitive aircraft falling from the sky like metallic raindrops. Their leaders gathered in emergency sessions, probably preparing surrender documents, but then something odd happened. Admiral, Lieutenant Yexmol's voice carried a note of confusion. The humans aren't responding to our surrender demands. Typical primitive stubbornness. Increase the demonstration. Vaporize one of their uninhabited landmasses. The mountain range that had stood for millions of years became cosmic dust in 0.3 seconds. Surely now these creatures would see reason. They didn't. Instead, a crackling transmission reached their command vessel. A middle-aged human female appeared on their screens, her face bearing what the Zephyrian cultural database identified as a smile. How bizarre. Hello there, visitors from beyond the stars. I'm President Elena Martinez of Earth's United Nations. We've received your demonstration, and we have a message for you. Commander Vexthal leaned forward. Finally, the surrender speech. We're not interested in whatever you're selling. Earth is closed for business. Have a lovely day, and please feel free to, how do you say, buzz off. The transmission ended, the bridge fell silent except for the gentle humming of quantum processors trying to compute what had just occurred. Did she just? Commander Vexthal's mouth appendages twitched. Did that primitive creature just tell us to, buzz off? I believe so, sir. The translation matrix confirms it's an informal dismissal phrase. Admiral Krin'dar's crest flared bright purple with indignation. Initiate Phase 2. Target their communication satellites. Cut off their ability to coordinate resistance. Within minutes, every satellite orbiting Earth became space debris. The Zephyrians settled back, satisfied that they'd severed humanity's nervous system. That's when the real surprises began. Sir, we're detecting massive electromagnetic pulses from the planet's surface. It appears they're using their primitive electrical infrastructure to create a communication network. Impossible. We destroyed their satellites. They've somehow converted their power distribution systems into a planetary-wide radio network. It's crude, but functional. Lieutenant Yexmol's voice grew increasingly perplexed. Admiral, there's more. They're launching what appear to be recreational vehicles into space. Recreational vehicles? According to our scans, these vessels were designed for something called camping trips and weekend getaways. They've strapped primitive rocket engines to them and, sir, they're actually reaching orbital velocity. Admiral Krin'dar's sensory tendrils writhed with frustration. These mammals are using their leisure equipment as military assets? It gets worse, sir. They're filling these vehicles with their domestic animals and launching them at our vessels. Domestic animals? Cats, sir. Apparently Earth cats in zero gravity become highly unpredictable projectiles. Commander Vexthul watched in fascination as a bright yellow camping trailer, complete with decorative flowers painted on its sides, spiraled past their observation windows. Through the transparent aluminum, he could see several small feline creatures bouncing off the interior walls in defiance of physics and common sense. Are they trying to weaponize their pets? Unknown, sir. But 3 of our scout vessels have had to retreat due to, quote, aggressive feline boarding parties. The Admiral's crest had now shifted to a deep shade of bewildered cyan. Status report on ground resistance? Well, sir, the humans have organized into what they call neighborhood watch groups. They're using gardening tools, sporting equipment, and kitchen utensils as weapons. One group in a place called Texas has apparently converted their barbecue grills into artillery cannons. Barbecue grills? Food preparation devices, sir. They're launching what appear to be meat products at our ground forces. Commander Vexthul studied the tactical readouts with growing disbelief. Lieutenant, are you telling me that our elite shock troops are being repelled by flying hamburgers? The hamburgers aren't the main problem, sir. It's the humans attached to them. They seem to view this as some sort of sporting event. They're keeping score. A new transmission crackled through their communication systems. This time, it was a young human male wearing what appeared to be a colorful hat with a spinning propeller attached to the top. Hey there, space dudes. This is Tommy Jenkins from Earth's totally unofficial welcome committee. We just wanted to let you know that we've got your fancy energy weapons figured out. Admiral Krin'dar's 4 eyes focused with predatory intensity. Impossible. Our plasma technology is beyond their comprehension. Tommy's grin widened. See, here's the thing about us humans, we're really, really good at breaking stuff. And once we break something, we get really, really good at fixing it. Sometimes better than it was before. The transmission showed Tommy holding what appeared to be a Zephyrian plasma rifle, except it had been modified with duct tape, copper wire, and what looked suspiciously like components from a kitchen microwave. We call this the Super Soaker 3000. It shoots your plasma stuff, but we've tuned it to also make really excellent coffee. Want some? The communication ended with Tommy apparently trying to pour coffee through the screen. Analysis, Lieutenant. Sir, our weapon recovery teams report that every plasma rifle lost to human forces has been creatively modified. They've turned our molecular disruptors into leaf blowers, our quantum phasing weapons into some sort of party entertainment devices, and... I'm sorry, sir, but they've converted our gravitational manipulators into what they call the galaxy's most awesome playground equipment. Commander Vexthul felt his certainty about the universe beginning to develop stress fractures. How long has this evaluation been going on? 72 hours, sir. And our progress? We've successfully, provided the humans with free entertainment and apparently improved their local cuisine preparation methods. Admiral Krin'dar's crest had now achieved a color that didn't exist in Zephyrian emotional spectrum charts. Get me high command. Now. The holographic projection of Supreme Admiral Tyxneth materialized above the command console, his ancient features carved from centuries of military precision. Admiral Krin'dar, I trust the primitive evaluation is proceeding smoothly? Supreme Admiral, we have a situation. Oh? The humans, sir. They're not behaving according to standard Conquest protocols. Supreme Admiral Twexnetha's expression shifted to what could charitably be called mildly interested. Explain. They've weaponized their recreational equipment, sir. They're using their domestic animals as irregular forces. They've reverse-engineered our technology using kitchen appliances. And they seem to think our military invasion is some sort of community event. A long pause. Community event? They're selling tickets, sir. Supreme Admiral Twexnetha's hologram flickered with what Admiral Krin'dar recognized as barely controlled rage. They're selling tickets to our military invasion? Yes, sir. Apparently, humans find our plasma bombardments quite spectacular and have organized viewing parties. They're serving something called invasion snacks and rating our attack formations on a scale of 1 to 10. What ratings are we receiving? Lieutenant Yexmol consulted his data pad nervously. Mostly 7s, sir. They complained that our standard triangular formation lacks creativity. One human suggested we try jazz hands. Commander Vexthul watched the Supreme Admiral's image cycle through several colors that definitely weren't in any regulation manual. Sir, there's more. More? They've started a social media campaign. Something called #AlienInvasionSelfies. Humans are posing with our attack vessels in the background and sharing the images across their communication networks. A new transmission interrupted their conversation. This time, an elderly human woman appeared on screen, wearing what appeared to be a floral dress and holding a plate of small brown objects. Hello, dear alien visitors. I'm Margaret Thompson from the Riverside Community Center. We just wanted to invite you down for our monthly potluck dinner. I've made my famous chocolate chip cookies, and Frank's bringing his award-winning chili. Admiral Krin'dar stared at the screen. Is she inviting us to a social gathering? It appears so, sir. She's also asking if we have any dietary restrictions and whether we prefer sweet or unsweetened beverages. Margaret smiled warmly at the camera. Oh, and don't worry about bringing anything. We know you're probably busy with all that conquering business. Though if you have any interesting space stories, we'd love to hear them. Gladys has been going on about her grandson's college adventures for months, and frankly, we could use some fresh conversation topics. The transmission ended with Margaret waving enthusiastically. Supreme Admiral Twexnetha's hologram had achieved a shade of purple that probably violated several physics laws. Status of our ground assault teams? Well, sir, Lieutenant Yexmol began carefully. Team Alpha was intercepted by a group of human children who challenged them to something called capture the flag. Our soldiers have been running around a suburban park for 6 hours trying to retrieve a piece of colored fabric from a tree. And Team Beta? They encountered a human female named Rosa Martinez who insisted on giving them a tour of her garden. She's been explaining the difference between tomatoes and peppers for the past 4 hours. Our squad leader reports that it's actually quite informative. Team Gamma? They've been adopted by a human family called the Johnsons. The patriarch, Jim Johnson, has been teaching them how to operate something called a lawn mower. Apparently, our soldiers find the activity surprisingly therapeutic. Commander Vexthul felt his worldview continuing its rapid disintegration. Supreme Admiral, what are your orders? Deploy the Psychological Warfare Division. If these creatures won't surrender to superior firepower, we'll break their spirits with advanced mental manipulation. 3 hours later, the psychological warfare specialists reported back. Sir, we have a problem. What kind of problem, Major Zwexketh? The humans appear to be immune to our psychological attacks. When we projected terrifying images into their minds, they asked if we took requests. When we attempted to implant feelings of hopelessness and despair, they started organizing support groups. Support groups? Yes, sir. They're offering counseling services to our own troops now. Private Kexvom has apparently had a breakthrough regarding his relationship with his clutch mother. Admiral Krin'dar's sensory tendrils drooped with defeat. What about our fear-inducing sonic weapons? The humans have incorporated them into their music festivals, sir. They're calling it alien bass drops and dancing to the frequencies. Ticket sales have increased by 300%. A priority transmission suddenly burst through their communications array. The face that appeared belonged to a young human male with spiky hair and what appeared to be colorful markings on his skin. Yo, alien dudes. This is Jake Peterson, Earth's self-appointed alien relations coordinator. We need to talk. Admiral Krin'dar sighed. What now? Look, we appreciate the whole invasion thing, really we do. It's been super fun. But we've got a proposal for you. A proposal? Yeah. See, we humans are really good at making things work, even when they probably shouldn't. And you guys seem pretty stressed out about this whole conquering business. So here's what we're thinking. Jake held up what appeared to be a hand-drawn document covered in colorful crayon marks. We call it the Galactic Friendship and Mutual Benefit Agreement. Basically, instead of you guys trying to take over our planet, we become business partners. Commander Vexthal leaned forward despite himself. Business partners? Absolutely. You've got all this cool space technology, right? And we've got us. We're creative, we're stubborn, and we're really, really good at fixing things that are broken. The transmission shifted to show what appeared to be a modified Zephyrian attack vessel. It still retained its basic shape, but someone had added colorful decorations, what looked like a coffee bar, and several comfortable seating areas. We took one of your scout ships and turned it into the galaxy's first intergalactic food truck. We're calling it Cosmic Tacos. The plasma engines make excellent grills, and your quantum storage compartments keep the ingredients perfectly fresh. Lieutenant Yexmol checked his scanners frantically. Sir, they're not lying. They've somehow converted a military reconnaissance vessel into a mobile restaurant. Jake's grin widened. But wait, there's more. We've also figured out how to use your teleportation technology for pizza delivery. 30 minutes or less, anywhere in the solar system, guaranteed. Admiral Krin'dar felt something inside his mind snap. Not break, snap, like a rubber band stretched too far and suddenly released. Let me understand this correctly. You've taken our advanced military technology and turned it into food service equipment and entertainment systems. Your holographic projectors make amazing movie theaters. Plus, we've been working on using your energy shields as really efficient umbrellas. Perfect for those surprise rainstorms. Supreme Admiral Twexnetha's hologram had gone completely silent, cycling through colors that probably weren't meant to exist in normal spacetime. Sir, Commander Vexthal said carefully, perhaps we should consider their proposal. Consider their what? Well, sir, in 72 hours, they've accomplished something no species in Galactic Council history has ever done. They've completely neutralized our invasion force without firing a single hostile shot. They neutralized us by feeding us cookies and teaching us lawn care. Exactly, sir. That's actually rather impressive. A new voice joined the conversation. It belonged to a middle-aged human male wearing what appeared to be a business suit and a hat decorated with small Earth flags. Greetings, Zephyrian representatives. I'm Bob Mitchell, Earth's newly elected Director of Interspecies Commerce. I understand you folks might be interested in some mutually beneficial arrangements. Admiral Krin'dar surrendered to the inevitable. What did you have in mind, Director Mitchell? Well, we've been thinking. You guys travel all over the galaxy, right? Lots of different planets, different species, probably lots of interesting places to visit? That is correct. And we humans, we're really good at hospitality. We know how to make people feel welcome, how to solve problems creatively, and how to turn almost anything into a good time. Bob held up a thick folder. We're proposing the first intergalactic tourism and cultural exchange program. You provide the transportation and the destinations, we provide the guides, the entertainment, and the customer service. Customer service? Oh yes. We've already started training programs. Margaret Thompson is teaching advanced alien hospitality, Frank Rodriguez is running workshops on interspecies conflict resolution through barbecue, and Tommy Jenkins has developed a certification program in creative technology adaptation. Lieutenant Yexmol's voice carried a note of wonder. Sir, our psychological evaluation teams report that human contact has actually improved morale among our troops by 47%. They've what? Apparently, humans have a unique ability to make other species feel welcome. Our soldiers report feeling appreciated, understood, and surprisingly optimistic about the future. Supreme Admiral Twexnetha's hologram finally stabilized into a color that suggested deep contemplation mixed with exhausted resignation. Admiral Krin'dar, new orders. Sir. Cancel the invasion. Initiate first contact protocols. And, see if that Margaret person has any more of those cookies. Commander Vexthul felt his stress levels dropping for the first time in months. Sir, what should we tell the Galactic Council? Tell them we've encountered something unprecedented. A species that conquers through kindness, weaponizes creativity, and turns military invasions into community events. And if they don't believe us? Invite them to dinner. 6 months later, the Zephyrian Empire's military academy added a new required course, Human Studies, Advanced Diplomatic Warfare Through Aggressive Friendliness. The textbook was written by Margaret Thompson and included 17 different cookie recipes. The final exam was a potluck dinner, everyone passed.